October 24, 2020, Josh is preparing to run his first ever marathon, the virtual NYC Marathon.
I had some nerves going on, so I didn't really sleep that well. I think just because it was my first one.
Josh Sisson, Robert Garr, and Jorge Garcia Brook stand together dressed in running gear with long sleeves and gloves. Josh stretches, Robert takes a selfie of the three of them together.
The New York City Marathon is one of the oldest, most prestigious races in the world. Since it's virtual, there's no crowd there, there's no other runners, nobody cheering for you or anything. I knew that I'd never run this far before, so it was just gonna be a tough day.
This would be Josh's first marathon, Robert's number
10.
and my 107.
Today is the first day of the Achilles Cup Challenge.
Achilles International, their mission is to help athletes with disabilities. They've got, a partnership worked out with the New York Roadrunners that put the marathon on every year, and so they have some spots that are saved for athletes who run for Achilles. You need guides to run with if you're blind or visually impaired and you're trying to do a marathon. And in that respect, I was super fortunate. I met Jorge because he showed up at Achilles to be a volunteer.
Yeah, so we're gonna walk over to the trail and then we start. It doesn't feel that one more time.
That's not good, Jeff.
I was always an active kid. I always wanted to run around and do whatever my sighted friends were doing. So I've had all kinds of people guiding me around who had no clue, what they were doing in terms of being a sighted guide. There's a lot of things that a guide can do to make things smoother for the run. Generally, the more observant your guide is, I think the better. Changes in terrain, uphill, downhill, coming up, it's good to know that's coming up. The scenery, getting some description of what's going on around you, it helps.
With the temperature at 41 degrees, the three trot down a paved trail.
There we go!
Woo! Robert jogs on the right side of the two-lane path. Josh is in the center and loosely grips a loop, also held by Jorge on his left. Behind them are two cyclists carrying packs and water.
We use it's called a tether. For us, it's just sort of an improvised tether. So my guide hangs on to one loop and I hang on to the other. And there's enough elasticity to where there's some give, but not too much to the point where I'm drifting off.
At the edge of a wooded area, a cyclist follows closely behind Josh and Jorge, who are now without gloves and wearing fewer layers as they cross a street.
Looking good!
Who's here? All right, man.
We got Scott.
Around mile 16 or 17, it started to get really hot. I kind of started to hit a wall, around mile 18 or 19. It's just really tough because I had never run further than 20 miles before, and I felt like it. The last 6 miles were not easy. I was proud that I had finished, but I knew I was going to finish. I was really happy to get the first one out of the way and that I could do it, with Jorge and Robert, who have been so great, with, helping me train and get ready. And it helped too, having, a couple people from Starkloff cheering me on.
Arms raised, Josh and Jorge run through the finish line.
Just 106 more to go, right?
Assuming he doesn't do any more. Good job, buddy.
Thanks, dude.
Hey, congratulations for coming out here. That's really cool that you guys came out.
When you have a disability, people are always skeptical. I'm always in a mode where I've got to prove myself to this person, to show them that I belong here. I'm used to that now, but the first time you show up to do a sport, there's going to be a little bit of awkwardness until they get used to you being there and see that you're just one of the guys or gals who showed up for the sport. It's easy to just want to not do anything. You want to avoid the awkward moments. You don't want to have to prove yourself all the time. So there's a temptation to just not try anything new. It's not like a hack to avoid those uncomfortable moments. You just have to keep showing up. Nothing good happens if you don't keep showing up. I never would have met Jorge if I hadn't shown up that day to Achilles practice. Not everything has to be comfortable all the time, especially if you want to be halfway decent at running marathons and long distances, you need to get used to being uncomfortable, because that's what it is a lot of the time. Yeah, that would be my advice to anybody with or without a disability, really, so yeah, just keep showing up.
Josh finished his first marathon in 4 hours, 4 minutes, 20 seconds. He plans to beat that time in 2021. Congratulations, Josh. Starkloff Disability Institute.